What's going on, Flyers fans? Welcome back to the Clear the Ice, the Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Sorry about that. Your boy Matty B on the call. Hey, man, a huge win. Huge character type, young, gritty win by the Flyers 2-1 tonight, overtime against the Wild. Yeah, there's a lot of positivity to be taken from this game. This is the type of game that a team like the Flyers could definitely use as sort of a launching off point, even though it's early. But the schedule, as we all know, to begin the season was not favorable to the Flyers. And to go 2-2-1 through the first 5 games of that schedule, listen, got to pat them on the back. And I'm gonna. Flyers with a big win tonight, 2-1. Some things to unpack. Dan Vladar. Am I in love with Dan Vladar? No, absolutely not. The one goal he did give up. He only faced 16 shots tonight. Flyers played really good fundamental hockey in front of him. And the one goal that was given up, it was a clean look. He needs to make that save. But if you're asking me who gives the Flyers a better chance night after night to win right now, it's Dan Vladar. I know we don't do this anymore, and I don't know why, but back in the old days, it was okay for a starting goalie to play 60 games of the year. But I am now in the camp when you're trying to get some wins, get some wind in your sails as the young Flyers and the young Flyers season. Go with Dan Vladar every night. The hell with Urson, man. Give Urson some opportunities when needed, like the next game the Flyers play is on Monday. Vladar should play. Then they play on Thursday. Vladar should play. Then they play on Saturday. Put Urson in. Kind of run a rotation like that. Again, I'm not in love with Vladar. And I'm not in love with Urson. I'm not in love with the Flyers goaltending situation at all. But right now, Dan Vladar is giving you the best chance to win. And tonight, he played well. Again, the one goal he gave up, don't forget, he only faced 16 shots. And the one goal he gave up was a pretty clean look that you got to have. But I'm not going to get overly critical of a Flyers win, especially against the Wild. So the Flyers with the win tonight now go 2-2-1. Some administrative notes from this game. The Flyers got off things going. Back at home, they decided to healthy scratch Adam Ginning, Nikita Grabenkin, and Jet Lachenko as they went for their goonish line that included Nick Delorier, who got into a fight, as I guess he was supposed to do. That's how he earns his paycheck. So they sat their young speedsters, and they played some of their bigger players in the game tonight, to include Christian Dvorak. For the Minnesota Wild, their healthy scratches were Zach Bogazian, Ben Jones, and Damon Hunt. Again, Dan Vladar mentioned he was your winning goaltender tonight for the Flyers. In net for the Wild was Jesper Wallstedt. 31. Faced 21 shots, made 19 saves, gave up the 2 goals, the 1 in regulation, and of course the 1 in overtime, the game winner for the Philadelphia Flyers, and they go on to win 2-1 overtime. Ryan, how you doing tonight? So 2-2-1 now on the young season. And how's everybody doing tonight? I'm doing great, if you're asking. Couple nights off, enjoying myself a little bit, enjoying my Saturday night, watching some Flyers hockey. So let's break this bad boy down. First period, nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was only 9 shots total for the period. The Flyers outshot the Wild 6-3 in that span. We would go to the first period intermission scoreless. In the second period, the one goal that Vladar did give up at the 1:55 mark by Vladimir Tarasenko from Rossi and Brodin. Rossi's 4th assist, Brodin's 1st. Tarasenko's first goal of the year to give the Wild a early 1-0 lead. Let's get into it. Again, I mentioned that the one goal that Vladar gave up was a clean look. And I need better, man. I'm sorry. I just need better. Am I being too stingy? Am I being too strict? Did I need a goaltender to make a better save than this? But let's get it up here on the big board. There it is. Okay. Again, I need a producer. Let's bring this up. All right, let's pick up play inside the Flyer zone. Again, I'm not going to sit here and complain about the the defense of the Flyers, pretty well defended here. Again, a good fundamental sound hockey game in front of Vladar all night long. The Flyers did play for him. A couple of mad dashes to the puck. Now, we'll talk about the play that sort of led to this play a little bit in a couple of seconds. A little bit of an over pursuit by Couturier, maybe out of position a little bit, but still, I'm liking the fact that we got 4 players in front of Vladar. Tarasenko had the open look in the dot area, but there's a couple things. The goaltender is part of the defense. Yeah, he is. For those of you that don't know, he's paid on stopping shots, and this, as it goes by difficulty, was an easy shot for him to stop, and he just lets it go, and he's been sort of susceptible to that side, that high short side or long side, I guess. And Tarasenko buries it and makes it 1-0 Wild. And of course, the big controversy around this goal was the play that sort of preceded it into the zone. The Drysdale touch it. The Wild player possessed it prior to getting into the zone. They reviewed it. Interesting decision by Tocchet at such an early point of the second period to go to a coach's challenge on a play that I don't know what he was seeing on the video side, but to me, based on what I could see, to me, there's not enough evidence to overturn it. The call was made on the ice that it was onside. Obviously, you need the indisputable evidence to overturn it. It's the second friggin' period. It's the first goal of the night. I might let that one ride. It was ultimately decided that, or determined by the NHL, that Drysdale had batted the puck into his own zone, which of course nullifies any offside by the Wild player. The goal stood. Flyers went on got charged the penalty for delay game, and the Wild were up 2-1 or 1-0. But to the Flyers' credit, that could have been a really big swing point of the game, but they held. No power play goals given up by the Flyers tonight. Ricky, how are you doing? But Minnesota does have the early 1-0 lead, and that is all the scoring we would have in the second period. The Flyers would be outshot 8-5 in that second period. And let's get to the third period. And the man that was around the net all game long, Owen Tippett had himself an interesting game, was involved in just about every scoring opportunity that I saw, as he's that high energy, playing with his hair on fire type player that we've all come to know and love. As he was getting involved, but yet still not being able to capitalize throughout this game, I was starting to have doubts, of course, on that contract, because he had a very under-impressive season last year. And he was one of the Flyers that I think we talked about heading into the season that we really need to see a different level. He needs to, start putting more pucks actually on the net instead of shooting wide. He just really needs to get his offensive game going. But this goal here by Tippett was an Owen Tippett goal. He's hair on fire, high energy, never quits on a play, constantly tries to get involved in throwing pucks all over the net area. Let's put it that way. And so far, so good through 5 games. He's getting more pucks on net. I'll give him that. And tonight, and he was rewarded here on a kind of a fluky goal, but it counts. Call it fluky. You could also call it a smart hockey play to stay with the play. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. All right. Let's pick it up as the Flyers will enter the zone. And there's Tippett off there on your far side. It's really all Tippett here, boy. Tippett's going to get the puck. He's going to put it on net. Basically, he's going to follow up his own rebound. This is what happens when you get the puck on the net. He has an opportunity for his own rebound, takes it behind the net, and then does not give up. Smart hockey play to just toss it in front. See if you can get one of those crazy caroms. He does. He goes off the back edge of the goalie's skate. And the Flyers find a way to tie this thing up 1-1. That's an Owen Tippett goal. If you ever saw one, that's an Owen Tippett goal. He basically has the initial shot. And the key to this whole play for him was to actually get that shot on net, that first one. He follows up the rebound, stays with the rebound, even though it gets poked away from him, and does what every young hockey player should do. Throw it to the net, young man. Good things happen when you put it on net. And that's exactly what happened for Tippett on that case, and the Flyers tie it up. It was Tippett's third goal of the season. When did he score the other two? Jesus Christ. Trevor Zegras gets credit for one assist, his fourth. Dvorak, his first assist, the other assist. Time of the goal was at 7:10 of the third period, and the Flyers tied it up at 1 apiece. And it would stay tied as Dan Vladar and the rest of the Flyers defensively kept the Wild off the board. The Flyers could not cash in themselves, but they kept it tied into the end of regulation. No, they do not, Joe. Again, I hate when we do this. I hate when we do this. Dan Vladar is not a true number one. I just said at the top of the broadcast, he is giving the Flyers the best chance to win at this particular moment in time. Now, I don't necessarily see that changing, but when you're balancing out between Dan Vladar and Sam Ersson on a real team, I shouldn't say a real team, on a team with a real number one, Vladar is a solid backup. But on this team, yeah, he's the number one, in my opinion, right now. But that doesn't make him a number one. And as I fear, it's a double-edged sword because I just advocated, Dan Vladar, we got to get away from this every other day, every other guy plays. No, ride Dan Vladar almost like 1990 style hockey. Give him some days off. Now, you do risk the chance that he will, whatever mojo he has is going to wear off, right? But right now, Sam Ersson does not give you as good as a chance in net than Dan Vladar does. So it's up to Rick Tocchet, really. Do you want to go out and try to win every night, or do you want to go out and try to develop Sam Ersson? And that's the question he's going to have to answer. And that's the problem when you don't have a true number one. That's the problem when you don't. And I do think they should ride Vladar a little harder than they are. Like Monday night, he should play. Thursday night, he should play. Saturday night, sit him. Do something like that. When did we get away from doing stuff like that? But if you're asking me who gives the Flyers the best chance in net right now, it's Dan Vladar. If you're asking me is he a true number one, the answer to you is no. I do not think he's a true number one. Couldn't break through in that position in Calgary. He's a good solid option behind somebody who is a number one. But right now he gives the Flyers the best chance to win. So the Flyers do tie it up 1-1. We go into overtime, and Noah Cates at the 2:37 mark on another. I don't have this goal to show you. We're just going to talk about it. Kind of a back and forth, typical 3v3 overtime period, all about puck possession and trying to find your opportunities. The Flyers come out of the zone. It was another goal by distance and a clean look, and Wendelstedt did not have it this time as Cates was able to blast it by him. That's your overtime winner. Cates is second of the year from Forrester, his third assist, and Drysdale his second assist, and the Flyers win 2-1. In the third period, the Flyers outshot Minnesota 9-4, and in the overtime, it was one shot apiece for a total of 21-16 shots on net in favor of the Flyers. The Flyers were also 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. They have now dropped to a healthy 1 for 15 on the power play to start the season. Keeping track at home, that's about 6% effective on the power play. The Wild were 0 for 3 on the power play as the Flyers killed off all three of them. They're up to about 83% on their penalty kill. The Flyers blocked 16 more shots tonight. They gave the puck away 15 times, and they took it away 4. And they improved to 2-2-1 now on the season, and a huge victory for the Fly Guys. Early season. One of these character type wins, and I'll definitely give you that. Vladar's, who's Letard? Yeah. I don't know who Letard is, but I know Vladar is better than Ersson. But also, you got to look at it, too. Kolbasov, man, with the 35-shot shutout last night in Lehigh Valley, made a very boisterous comment, too, saying, I'm coming back to Philadelphia and taking that net over. And maybe you were looking at a scenario by Christmas. It's Kolbasov and Vladar as your two tandems up here, and Sam Ersson's down in Lehigh Valley battling with what's his name, Bjornsson, for some playing time. I don't know. it's the same. The goaltending situation for the Flyers is just the same as it is for any other position on this skill group on this team. It's development and who steps up and, who they see the most of. Nobody has essentially cemented the job. It's an open audition every single night. Urson looked terrible the other night. Vladar looked pretty good in his starts. I don't like the trend, though, of the clean look goals. If there's anything about Vladar's game I don't like, he seems to play better with traffic in front of him. He seems to play better with the puck pinballing around. He's struggling a little bit on shots in space and clean looks. I don't know how to wrap my head around that, but he seems to have problems with those mid-range shots without a screen. I don't know. I don't know how to look at that. I don't know how to dissect that. Thoughts on Drysdale's performance this year? The offensive numbers, Jamie Drysdale is what he is. And again, one of the players, especially on the blue line, now that Cam York is back defensively, maybe things get a little easier and they can get into a routine more. This is a must-win season for Drysdale. Or I should say a must-perform season for Drysdale. 5 games in, he seems to be his defensive fundamentals are a little bit better. His offense still needs to kind of come along a little bit. He's a 20 goal scorer. He really he was projected to be a 20 goal scorer as a drafted player, and I still think he has that ability. Defensively, the Flyers have actually played pretty good to start the season. And then they had to start out with some injury issues. They've had to start out again with some continuity issues. Players along the blue line are all looking to step up because the defense was terrible last year. Drysdale's played well, but so is the rest of the defense. We'll wait and see thing. But, Drysdale, to me, came here with a lot of expectations. We dealt Cutter Gauthier for him. You dealt your 6th overall draft pick. I was thinking we were getting a, equal player back, and, he struggled, but so far so good. So far so good for Jamie Drysdale to start the season. Flyers win 2-1. Have now gone 2-2-2 on the season. We went over all that. Let's take a look at Clear the Ice for next week as we'll turn the calendar on Monday. And here's your look at next week. Mike will have you Monday, Pat on Thursday, and Pat on Saturday. Pat's going back-to-back as I will not be in the net next week. So I'm getting the week off of no Flyers hockey for me next week. But that's your group for next week. What else should we do here? I guess we could talk player of the game. I don't really have a get you little segment for that because I'm not used to only breaking down 2 goals. Usually the goal breakdown segment takes about 25 minutes. But player of the game for me, you can make a case for Vladar, obviously, but he only faced 16 shots. This is what I can't wrap my head around. 16 shots. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. Now, what's his face? He faced 21 and gave up 2 goals. But Vladar faced 16 shots. Just like the other night, Urson only faced like 15 and gave up like 5 goals. Vladar faced 16, gave up a goal. The goal was a terrible goal. It was a terrible, terrible goal that he gave up. So I'm not giving him number 1 star billing tonight. I'm not. I'm going to go with Owen Tippett. As I said, Tippett was all over the place, everywhere. Obviously, that the one goal, the equalizer, was all Owen Tippett all the time, and playing with his hair on fire as he is. Need a huge step back season from him this year, and he's going to get my number 1 overall star for tonight. Owen Tippett is your 1 star of the game. Mike is getting ready to hop on. Yeah, I saw that Penn State has lost. Jeez, what has happened to Penn State? So the Happy Valley Huddle will be happening in about 5 seconds. So I am going to jump off. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Remember all the great things happening here on the network. Tomorrow morning, you got the P&M and the AM, and you also have Birds Flyby, our post-game show. And then tomorrow night, I'll be back with the final words. So keep on keeping on with the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Flyers win 2-1 overtime. Owen Tippett's your number one star. Dan Vladar gives you a better chance to win right now than Sam Urson. He's not a number one goalie, but he gives you a better chance to win. And the Flyers are now 2-1. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. I will see you again tomorrow night. Take care. Have a good one.